In today's video, I'm going to show you how to take advantage of probably one of the strongest tools in calisthenics that can double your progress in no time. And this is bed form. And you probably have heard of it before because it's pretty known, but no one is teaching you how to use it exactly. Everyone says, yeah, do bed form if you want to get better. But no one shows you how to. And this is the problem, because bed form can or break it or make it for you. So you can actually benefit from doing bed form really good and start progressing and seeing the results that you're looking for, or the complete opposite and never see progress and being stuck. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can take the advantage of it and not being stuck with bed form forever and not actually going for harder and better stuff. The first and most important thing is to realize that everyone, even your favorite influencers on Instagram, are using bed form. And they're not showing it, but everyone is doing it. And I've seen it with my own eyes. I've been at the ISM competition, I've been in Bulgaria, I've been in Latvia, and I've seen it. Everyone uses bed form. You just need to know how to use it correctly. In order to explain it the best way for you, I will need to cover just a little bit about volume and intensity. So, volume and intensity. Most of the time when I'm trying to work on intensity is when I'm trying to learn a new skill. For example, if my own goal is to do the full planche and I'm currently at the level of doing the advanced stacked, most of the time the goal will be to work with intensity. Okay, so this is new skill. And it doesn't have to be even like just the full planche. For example, even if I have the full planche and I want to reach the Maltese, again, I'm going to work on intensity. And also, it's not just about the skills. If I'm trying to improve my form, it's going to be also intensity. So a better form equals more intense work. And when I'm working with intensity, I don't want to break the form too much because it's not going to benefit me that much. And I want to work with intensity with about 6 or 7 out of 10 form. Not go too much below that, like that's the bare minimum. We want to work with not the perfect form, but just with a form that will allow you to do it kinda clean. But in the volume, when I'm doing volume, I want to focus specifically on doing more repetitions. So for example, if I've reached to the point where I can do the full planche and I want to start to work on combos, this is exactly when I want to work on volume. So the first one is combos. And it's not just about combos, it's also if I want to learn something to do it for more time under tension, longer stuff. For example, increasing my hold time or increasing the repetitions. So it's going to be hold or reps. And when I'm working on volume, now I can benefit from bed form a bit more because bed form and volume are coming together. They're benefiting to each other very much. So here I can actually start working with a bit lower form. For example, 4 to 5 out of 10. So I'll just quickly sum this topic up about intensity and volume. When you are working on volume, you can go with just a little bit more breaking the form. And here you want to go with just a little bit more of a solid form. So here about 6 and 7 out of 10, and here 4 to 5. And this is how you are about to use bed form and take advantage of it, and you can break it down into 2 separate parts. Okay, so in the first part, you are starting out your sets with a good form, and as you are getting fatigued and closer to the end of the set, then you're breaking a little bit your form. So you're starting with good form that comes down into bad form. And this is probably the most known option of using bad form, but the second option is basically starting the sets from mid form and doing mid form throughout all of the set. So mid form to mid form. Okay, so how do you know which one you are going to choose and train with? Okay, so the simple answer is you are not, because you are going to use them both. They both can benefit you through getting more volume, getting more seconds, and getting better and better and better. But you have to use them separately to achieve different things. When you are going into trying something for your first time ever, for example, I'm very close to achieving the full planche and I want to attempt it, I will choose definitely this option of doing all of the set with mid form. It will allow me to do more repetitions, to hold it for longer, but obviously the form is going to be not as good. And the intention here is just to succeed the set. I'm not thinking about how I'm doing it as perfect as possible. No, I'm just here to nail that set down and actually achieve it. And in this option is more about like, how do I get more out of my pretty good form into even more repetitions. So it's not just about like doing only this or only the other. It's basically combining them both separately on different days, on different goals and training sessions. And I'm basically showing it on my Instagram, sharing my workout routines, everything I do, and for my knowledge on a daily basis. So if you don't follow me, just drop a follow, it's definitely worth it. And let's get back into it. Bad form is going to help you mentally to achieve something. For example, if I've done for my first time ever in my life, for example, 10 full planche presses, but none of them are clean. For example, 10 presses, but none of them are clean. I've still got it for the first time in my life, so next time it's going to be way easier to nail that down again and do it with better form. It's way harder to do it for the first time with a decent form. First time always comes down to doing it with a bad form, and the intention is not even trying to do it as perfectly as possible. The intention is just to nail that down and succeed with the presses, to succeed with the goal of the set. So after you achieved it, that's when you can do it again and again and again, and time after time it's going to get better form-wise. Okay, and it comes down to what's a bad form that is going to allow me to progress faster, and what's the type of bad form that will get me stuck in place. Okay, let's take for example the planche, but it applies also for front levers. But just for this explanation, I'm going over the planche. So we all know that we need to lock our elbows in planche and to have a straight line with body, straight legs, protraction, PPT, and so on. But we all know that locking our arms is the most important thing, and without locking our arms, it's worth nothing. So if I'm going to do it with a bad form that I'm doing it like a 90 degree, it's not going to help me, obviously. So that's not a bad form we would like to do. So there are many cases of things like that can stop you from making progress. And the first one is locking your elbows. Not locking your elbows. Not locking your elbows. And that was the obvious one. And the second thing is you never want to break your protraction. Protraction is almost like the straight arms. If you're using retraction in your planche sets, it's going to be very hard for you in the future to correct it and come back from it. But when you're using protraction, it will be easier for you over time because one, you are very high, which reduces the loads from your shoulder and shifts it toward your serratus anterior. And also it's easier for presses and longer combos. So that's not a thing you want to neglect. But yes, the protraction doesn't have to be 100% all of the time, but just make sure that you are not retracted in your planches. So the second thing is protraction. And the third thing that we want to keep in our planche that is a must is shoulder depression. So basically going from this position down is a depression. And we don't want to be like this in planche because it's way harder to put more force into the actual move. So the third thing is depression. Okay, so how do I actually break the form in a way that will benefit me? Okay, so how do I break the form in a way that will allow me to progress faster without neglecting the core moves of the planche? So you basically have to understand how you are making the move easier, but not neglecting what I've just said. So the best option for you, for example, if you are in the full planche and trying to do the presses, is bend your legs. Bend legs. So it's just making it a little bit easier because you're reducing the load by doing it with a lower leverage. And the second option is not to be as parallel as possible, and you're doing it by going a little bit up with your body. So the second option is upward. And the third option to gain strength from using bed form, the most efficient way is using piked position. So for example, you are a little bit high with your hips, but you are still in a full planche position. So piked. And over time, as you get stronger with this one, you can actually correct the form. It's that simple. And this was just the surface level. And in my online coaching, I'm not just helping you to get there and achieve your dream skills, I'm also teaching you the knowledge that will allow you to get there. Because I ain't gatekeeping. I want to help you as much as possible. And I will put here just a video of one of my students that made such a huge progress. So if that's something you're interested in, you can send me a message in Instagram. I will put the link down below.